the government's moving to speed up resource consents and increase land supply in the hope that will make houses more affordable. But there are warnings that making the consent process more efficient could actually achieve the opposite, making land more expensive. The National Director of Research and Consulting at Colliers International, Alan McMahon, joins me now. Good morning to you.
Morning.
Why would it make it more expensive? If you're making it easier and cheaper for developers, why wouldn't they pass that on?
Well, why would they pass it on? I mean, their job is not to provide affordable housing, it's to maximise the profits for themselves, which is not an unreasonable aspiration. So if there is parties, there are people willing to buy houses, say at the prices they are now, but the cost to the developer goes down because the resource consents are more efficiently managed and the cost of the time it takes and the consent process reduces, then they will still sell the house at the price that they are selling it for now and make a bit more profit.
But given there is all this discussion about housing affordability, is there not going to be pressure on those developers to not simply maximise their profits?
Well, the answer is lots more choice. So if, for example, if we take the current situation is the market is chronically undersupplied. We are not building nearly enough houses. We need 10,000 a year. We're building less than 5. So supply is slow to respond to this demand. It takes years for the supply to really catch up. It will catch up, but in the meantime, the market's undersupplied. Therefore, prices will tend to be bid up. If there's a lot more land made available, greenfield sites suitable for large standalone houses, then the cohort of the population which can afford them will carry on buying them and prices will continue to go up, and that will enable developers to pay more for land unless there is such a big increase in supply that there's some real competition.
So what you're saying here is that not only it's not just about releasing more land, because if we release more land, they're not necessarily going to build the kind of houses that people entering the market can afford to buy.
That's right. That's exactly right. So the greenfield, the argument that we should make more land available on the edge of the city is fine, and that will be helpful to provide more houses. But people don't want to live in high-density apartments or terraced housing there. If we're going to encourage people to live in terraced housing and apartments, it needs to be near an urban node or near the CBD, so there's some amenity. People will trade amenity for size. They'll trade amenity for a backyard, so they'll live in apartments, they'll live in terraced houses, but not way out on the edge of town.
So then, is there a flaw in this plan? Are they releasing the wrong kind of land or not putting enough restrictions in place to ensure that that land is used for a certain purpose?
Well, it's not an easy question, and there's lots of different answers to that question. But if you want greenfields land developed on the edge of town, then basically standalone large houses is the best answer. They're cheapest to build, they make the most profit for the developers, and lots of people want to buy them. But by far the majority of the demand for housing in Auckland is for 2 or 3 bedroom houses, and they need to be built closer to town. And the way that that can be encouraged is through the new unitary plan that Auckland Council are developing now.
So what actually say to developers, this is the kind of housing that you must build in these areas?
Well, give a bit of flexibility on height, flexibility on density, not too restrictive a development consent process, a resource consent process, and direct the sort of development we need through the unitary plan and through regulation.
But as it is, these changes wouldn't have the desired effect?
Well, probably not. No, it needs to be a much more holistic approach.
Well, thank you very much for your time this morning. That is Alan McMahon from Colliers International.